Hi everyone, welcome to Colorful Cloud. So in this video, we are going to discuss how we can install Kubernetes in Ubuntu virtual machines. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how you can install a multi-node Kubernetes cluster. So there is a Minikube as well. If you have a single machine, you can use the single machine to install Minikube, but uh, we know the main Kubernetes is used in the production environment. So I'm going to tell you how to install multi-node Kubernetes cluster, meaning I have one master node and one worker node. So I assume that you have basic knowledge on how to install and how to provision virtual machines using VirtualBox, Oracle VirtualBox Manager. Just a heads up, if you're not familiar, after making the virtual machines and installing your OS, I recommend that you should change your network adapter from NAT to bridge adapter so that it has a dedicated IP address of its own. It doesn't routes from the host OS to the guest OS, which it does in the NAT. So I have fired up my virtual machines. This one is the Cube Master, the master one, and this one will be the worker one. So just to be sure, you can check if you freshly install your Ubuntu machines, you need to have OpenSSH server installed. If you're not sure, you can check it like this. I have installed it. If you're not sure how to install it, just write sudo apt install OpenSSH server. So you can see I have already installed the newest version. I have done it on here. So I'm just going to get their IP address of these machines. So it's 196 and this one as well. So it's 197, sure. So as I'm on Mac OS, I'll use my terminal, Mac OS terminal. If you are on Windows, you can use MobaXterm. That is a very good application which you can use to use SSH client to a virtual machine. So let me just pull the last one up. So this is the Cube Worker plugin. So I have installed it here in this, and let's just do the same here. Cube master at 192.168. This IP address might be different for you. It depends on your network. 118.196. Yes. Password and yes. Okay. So let's just minimize these. We don't need them. So also I have done this multiple times. So I have created a document which I'll share with you after this video. You can see it in the description. I'll also add a link to it to my Medium blog. So these are all the things step by step that you have to do to install Kubernetes on your virtual machines and connect them in a master and slave architecture. So let's just start from the beginning. We will use apt update and apt install these packages, CS certificates, curl. These are pretty basic packages that we need to use in the upcoming commands. So if you install your OS fresh, so I recommend you do the sudo apt-get update before doing anything else because it takes a lot of time. So let's just get this test. So we'll just have to wait for him to finish up. I'm just going to give it here. Let me just make it a little bit bigger so that you can see it clearly. Bigger this as well. I hope they're the same size. Okay, so this done and this is also done. So I've done it already. So that is why I don't have any packages to update to. So, okay. Here, now I'll install this one. So before that, I'll just become the root user because I don't want to use password again and again. So it's not recommended to be using a root user, but if you know what you're doing, so you can go on and install things that use root user because the root user has a lot of privileges that we don't want the basic user to have. So that's why we don't recommend using root user on the Linux systems. So these have been installed. So we are going to turn off the swap. We have to disable swappiness because this is an essential kernel parameters. So let's just disable swappiness. Done, done. And after this, we are going to first import the GPG key of Docker, and then we're going to add Docker repository as in the Linux machine, so that the repository, the apt command can check where to get the the Docker packages from. So done. And after this, we'll update the system so that it gets the cache on the Docker repositories as well. Let me check if we have. Okay, let's just check. Now you can see like they're trying to check for Docker repository, so they have got some cache in the system. Let me check. We don't have. Yeah, we do have here as well. So yeah. Now we're going to install Container.io and Docker stable CE version on here as well. After this, we're going to just check if we have downloaded Docker successfully, just to check their version. Okay, we just have to wait for a minute now. It's taking quite a lot of time. I'll just pause the video, and when it's done, I'll come back to it. Sure. Yeah, so now you can see that the packages are being downloaded and the symlink are being created, so that the packages starts up whenever the system starts up as well. So this is just going to take a little bit more time. Till then, we are going to get the Docker version. Come on. Yeah, so we got it. Now we're going to get the Docker version. So we have the version 27.3.1 on here. We have also 27.3.1. So after this, we are going to create a directory apt rings where we will store the GPG keys for Kubernetes. So after this, the same, we're going to import the GPG keys from this website. So I'm downloading 1.28 version. So I'll make a video on how to upgrade the Kubernetes from 1.28 to a major version 1.29. If you want to install 1.29, you can write 1.29 here or 1.30 here. The latest version in my, I think right now is 1.31. So I'm just using 1.28, and also I think I need to, there's some issue in this command, so I'm going to cancel. No, what is the issue? We just copy it from here like this. Similarly, I'm just there's seems to be an issue with the command. Let me just open up my main notes. Let me just check what's the issue. So till this. So till list, let me just check. So that was the issue. I had like the quotes in front of it, so that is why. So let's just minimize that, and now we can update so that it gets the cache from the Kubernetes repository as well. So for now, let's just cancel this and get the repositories. So as you can see, it's getting the cache from the K8 repository. K8 means the Kubernetes. So now we will install the 3 Kubernetes services: kubedm, kubectl, and kubelet. So we need all of these things that I am doing right now. You need to do it on all of the nodes. For example, if you have more than 2 nodes, so you have to do it all on all of the nodes. So let's just wait for them to finish. Similarly, I'll just get back to you when they're done. So yeah, we are done. We have downloaded the kubelet, kubectl, and kubeadm. Let's just check the other one. Yep. So all of these are done. So now we will hold their versions so that they don't and their version don't change. If we like upgrade to something else, might possible that a package is dependent on kubectl or kubeadm, so it upgrades kubeadm as well. So we'll hold these packages so that they don't get updated on their own. So we've done this. We're just gonna check the version, double check the version. So yeah, 1.28, 1.284, 1.2814. So there's same 1.2814, 1.2814, and 1.2814. Yeah. So now we will just check the status of Docker. So it is running and it is loaded. Loaded means that it will start with the whenever the system starts up. So yep, there is no error. And let's just check kubelet as well. So right now it's inactive. Before we do anything, we'll just wait for it. Now we'll write some configuration files for container IO. So let me just give you a heads up. So we will create an directory for containerd, and we will get all the information from the config file, the default information from the config file of containerd, and store it into the config.toml, and then we will restart the containerd service. Now we will restart. I'm sorry, I just wrote q for, and let's just check systemctl status containerd, and yes, it's loaded and it's running. Let's just do the same thing here, and let's just check here as well. Status containerd. I'm sorry, my spelling mistake in my, yeah. So yes, both of them are working. So now this is where you have to differentiate between which machine you want to make a master and which machine you have to make a worker. So before this step, this kube init step, you have to do on all of the machines. Those are, you can say, prerequisites of initializing and setting up the Kubernetes cluster. So you have to do those all on all of the machines. So now you have to figure out which machine you want to make master and which one of the you have to make slave. So now, for example, this is my cube master. This machine I want to make master machine. So I'll just run kubeadm in this. This machine you'll just have to wait for now. So yeah, so I have some errors. Let me just check what's the error. The socat is not found. So I think I didn't install the socat. So let's just install this. Yeah, I forgot to install socat. Let's install it here as well, because once we make it join the cluster, this will give us the same error. So let's just rerun that. I hope this does not give us any error. Okay, some fatal errors occurred. So yeah, so you can see there are some errors. This does not exist. I had this error before, so I am going to see, yeah, the proc does not exist. So what the issue is that we did not run these commands, means we need to set up the network traffic so that the Kubernetes can use those traffics to work properly. So let's just do this. So when I make the blog, I'll sure to add these commands before, so that you don't get these errors when you try to install it. So yeah, you can see the much newer version is 1.31.1, and now we are using the stable 1.28 version. So we'll just, yeah, so before this, if you have a good internet connection, I suggest you perform this command before using the kubeadm init. So let's just do this. So this will install all the kubeadm images, the images like all the master services images. One of them is Kube Scheduler, Kube API Server, etcd database, and all those things. All those need then Docker images. So this will install all the images beforehand. So we just have to wait. You don't have to do anything on your worker machine for now till you have any information on this. So I'll pause the video, and once it's done, I'll come back. So we have installed all the master services images, the core DNS, the etcd, the proxy, the kube scheduler controller, and API server. So now we will run kubeadm init, so it won't take that much of time. See? So now it will just make a cluster. So we will add the worker machine into this Kubernetes cluster. Let's just check what we're left with. So we have done this. So this happens when the cluster has been made successfully. And after this, obviously, once you're in the Kubernetes cluster, you need to use the kubectl command. So you need, in order to use the kubectl command, you need to make the directory .kube and copy all the configuration files from the admin.conf to the .kube configuration. So it's a local command. It's your Linux local command, like your other commands like mkdir, change own, these type of commands. And you'll change the ownership of the configuration file. So yeah, so now you can see that the kubeadm join, this has been given a discovery token. So this command we will run on our worker machine, as you can see, running the following on each node on your virtual machine or your node on the Kubernetes cluster. So before that, they say to start using your cluster, you need to run the following as a regular user. I'm a root user, so it doesn't matter much. So what you can do is just copy this and paste, and boom. So now what the last thing is, we have to add our worker machine to our cluster. So it's giving me the same issue. Oh yes, I didn't do the same thing here. So you can see silly me. Let's just copy paste and copy paste. So obviously this machine will also have the Kubernetes, and all the Kubernetes network traffic will also flow from this node. So this node also needs the network setup. So yeah, it's saying starting kubelet. So that is why we didn't start the kubelet before, because the cluster itself will start the kubelet. So now you have to see that whilst I'm on my worker node, I cannot use the kubectl command on my worker node. As you can see, this is giving me an API error, which means that the kubectl command cannot access the kube API server. But as of now, I am on my master machine. I can use kubectl get nodes. So right now you can see we have kube master and kube worker nodes. So both of them are not ready right now because we haven't added a network plugin inside the Kubernetes. So let me just show you which pods we have in all of our Kubernetes cluster. The -a shows all the pods in all namespaces. So you can see the kube proxy is being created for the kube worker. So till then, let's just wait. As you can see, the core DNS, this is a daemon, means it will run on each of nodes on the number of nodes. If you have 3 nodes, there will be 3 daemons. If you are 4, then there will be 4, and vice versa. So I'm using the Calcio network plugin. You can use any other. I think there's Flaminal as well, FLAMEL. I think you can just search it on Google or ChatGPT, obviously. So I'll just use kubectl apply. So this will get the manifest file from this and then apply all of those things. So let's just watch kubectl get pods -a. So right now the Calcio node is also a daemon, so it's waiting to be created on the machine. So it will take a lot of time because it has to pull the image and everything. Let's just show you what happens inside of this. kubectl describe pod, this one. Oh no, I'm sorry. I have to do it again. Let's just remove the watch and just copy this. Copy ctl describe pod this, and it's in the namespace cube system. I'll show you how you can get the namespace as well. You can see it's same pulling image from Docker. So it will take some time because I'm not sure how big the image is, but you can also get namespaces. Get namespaces. So right now there are 4 namespaces. In the default, obviously there is nothing in the default. kubectl get all. So right now we are in the default namespace. I have the command where you can change the namespace as well. I think it's somewhere here. These are all my nodes. All my nodes. These are on all Kubernetes nodes, and this one is for all the Kubernetes practice I did for my CKA, the Certified Kubernetes Administrator exam. Let me just check. It was under. I just forgot where I put it. Honestly. So let me just check if we have done. If we have got the Calcio up and running. If not, sorry, I wrote it wrong. CTL. So right now I'll just pause the video so that they come go on coming up and running, so that we can work on them again. So just give me a moment. We'll come back to it later. So yeah, I just checked. We have the now all the pods are up and running. So as you can see, the Calcio node daemon is also running, and the Calcio cube controller is also running. So after these are initialized and up and running, so the core DNS is also working. So it just waits for the network plugin to start and get up and running. Then after that, it starts its services. So as I mentioned, how to change our namespace. For example, if I'm listing the pods in another namespace, for example, I want to list the pods in the cube system. So I don't want to write the -n cube system again and again. What I can do is just I can change the context, change the context and use another namespace. So we can use kubectl config set context -current -namespace is equals to, and the new namespace you want to modify the current namespace with. So as I want to use the cube system, because I'm using cube system again and again, I want to make changes in the namespace again and again. I don't want to write -n again and again. So yeah, so now if I do kubectl get pods without the -n, I'll get the same answer. So I can just do this again and revert it back to default, and now I check, because there is no pod in the namespace, so obviously I'm not going to get anything. So let's just try to deploy a pod. Also I want to show you that now, because we deployed the Calcio network plugin, so now both of these nodes are in ready status. So if you want to add roles / labels, these are also called labels, you can also add it using this. So right now I don't know how to jump in macOS terminal. So I will write the node name. It's cube worker VB, means VirtualBox, and what role name I want to assign to it is worker. And after this you don't have to give any value. So after this you can get kubectl get nodes, and now it's saying worker. Okay, so last thing before ending the video is how you can deploy an image on it. So we'll just deploy an nginx image on it. So right now you can say c kubectl get pods. We have deployed it in the default namespace, and if you want to access it, you want to expose it using a service. So write this because the Nginx works on port 80. So we have to just write the name of the service. I'm sorry, of the pod. So you can see this is the name of the pod. So I've written it here, and this will be the name of the service that we are creating. And once this done, boom, kubectl get all. It will get me all the, this is the services and this is the pods. So we just need to wait for it to be created. So now you can see the Nginx service is now open to the port 3244, 32,044, and uh, it will use the nodes IP. If you don't know about node port, node port is a service which exposes a certain port using the node's IP address. Nodes its own IP address. This on this, the IP address is one. I think, I'm sorry, I have a bad habit of using if config. So as we know, this is the node's own IP address. We can also see on which node the pod is provisioned. We just have to use minus o hyphen o wide. We can see obviously because this is a worker pod, so it will be provisioned on the worker machine. And this is the internal IP. Remember the 172, the IP starting from 172.10 and 192 are internal IPs. Obviously the system IP is also an internal IP because it is assigned from the router. So I'll just use this IP address, copy, and let's just go to the browser and write 32,044, and voila, it says welcome to Nginx. If you see this page, you have successfully installed and make the Nginx working. If I want to use it from the other node, I'll just get the IP address of that IP show, I'm sorry, IPA show ENP. I'll just get the IP address of that. It's 197. So from 196, I'll write 197. I'm sorry, 197. So also, it's also giving me welcome to Nginx, obviously. So yeah, I think that's just sums up everything. We have deployed it and we have the pods up and running. So if you have any questions, do let me know. Write them in the comments, or if you want, I will also upload the blog I mentioned before. I will also upload the blog on Medium, and I also try my best to mitigate any errors that we had in this tutorial. So thanks for watching, and do let me know if you have any issues. Thanks. See you. Bye.